I always did like the weird. Weird! The Al Yankovic Story. Huh. I've been curious to see this one for a little bit, ever since I first heard it was a thing. Because honestly, part of me wondered, what is that even going to look like? Because I watched, like, God, decades ago now, the Weird Al Behind the Music on VH1. And the general tone of the thing was him being super apologetic in the interviews, going like, I'm sorry, I've got a really drama-free life. This is going to be the most boring episode of Behind the Music ever. And it kind of was. Dude just makes parody songs and is pretty chill. So like, what kind of movie are you going to make out of that? Pretty dang entertaining one, as it turns out. There's, I don't want to spoil how it goes about what it's doing. But here's what I will say. I think that this is geared and intended for people who are fans of Weird Al and know at least a bit about it. I think other people will still get enjoyment out of it, but I think people who know him and know his work and know anything about his history will catch on almost immediately to what it is this movie's doing. Other viewers, it might take them a little longer, but like probably by about the halfway mark, you're gonna catch on to what it is that is going on here. And it's a joke that should not sustain a feature-length film. Like, this started out as a sketch, as a fake trailer, like a decade ago. But it does actually sustain across the whole thing. And it's because, like, this is funny. This is quite funny. But the reason it's funny is because all the performances are dead serious. All of these actors playing these various parts, they are delivering it with as much seriousness as you expect and see in things like Bohemian Rhapsody or Rocket Man or The Doors or any biopic about a musician. It's delivered with that same seriousness, and it hits those same story beats, and it's about a guy singing about baloney. It's this does a really fun balance of a bizarre, very at its face, silly, jokey premise and even jokey scenes, but doing them dead serious. This is beyond just deadpan delivery, because deadpan is just kind of like not giving an indication that we're doing a joke. These are very, at times, heightened performances, but not for the purposes of comedy, for the purposes of being dramatic. But it's not dramatic material. So that contrast is just really fun. You can tell Daniel Radcliffe is having an absolute blast playing Weird Al. And Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna. That was stellar casting. Like, most of the casting is really good. Rainn Wilson, Dr. Demento, spot on. Excellent. But there's also, like, I can't even go through all of them, because there's a scene, and if you've seen the movie, you already know it. And if you're going to watch the movie, you'll know when you see it. There is a scene in the movie that is basically double layered cameos, because it's a scene that's like a party, like a celebrity party. And so you have all of these of the time celebrities being played by current era celebrities. So you have celebrities of now doing cameos as celebrities of the 80s. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I had quite a bit of fun with this. And to watch someone like Weird Al and to see his life molded into the structure of the standard Hollywood rock star biopic, knowing that it does not fit that mold at all, and seeing what they do to make it fit that mold. Yeah, it's a good time. And at the end of the day, probably only slightly less accurate than most musician biopics that have been made. This is just fun. It's not especially deep, so I don't have a lot of analysis to go into, but it's a good time, especially if you are a Weird Al fan, which I am. I've been a Weird Al fan. Oh my goodness. I think the first one of his albums I actually bought when it was new. I can't remember the name of the album. It was the one with Amish Paradise on it. That was the first album I bought, but then I bought some of his earlier stuff after that, and I bought, I think, every album he's put out since then. I've seen him in concert. He puts on one of the most amazing stage shows I have ever seen in my life. It's an incredible stage show. If you ever get the chance to see him in concert, he is incredible. I just love his work. I love what he does. And he didn't direct this, but his fingerprints are all over it. You could tell he was very, very involved in the shape that this film takes and the way that it approaches everything that it covers. This Weird Al has spent 40 years doing parodies of songs, and now he has taken that same perspective and way of entertaining and turned it to movies. And technically he's done that once before, but UHF was a bit of a jumbled mess that was trying to do a lot of things and kind of sacrificed quite a bit in the name of comedy. This is a much more focused thing that knows exactly what it's doing. And yeah, I'm not going to pretend UHF doesn't exist, but this is what I would hope for from something that is about Weird Al that I know he was involved in. This just feels like him. And I don't want to say anything other than that, because I think if you are interested in this and haven't seen it yet, it's available for free on the Roku channel. If you have access to it. I have Roku, so I don't know if you can get access. If you don't have a Roku, I don't know. But if you can get to see it, I do recommend it. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Just because I think you should have the fun of discovering the places that this goes, even after you realize what it's doing. Whether you realize that very early on or a little bit in. Weird. The Al Yankovic Story. What'd you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Patreon's what pays the bills around here. Any amount you can help with that is of great assistance. There's also a link in the description, plus to the other things that I do aside from YouTube stuff. But don't worry about that too much. Like, share, and subscribe also help. And we try and take a relaxed attitude around here so you can come on back next time you need a break. End credits, that means I need to shout out my top Patreon supporters. Robin Moore, Zupin Lutfula, Tarak, the thing that goes doink in the anime, Oliver B., Linda Walters, Emu Delkey, Leotha Boyd, Toy Loli, Becky Sparks, Renabi Likes the Poodle, Zach, Tracy Scrabbit, Angry Casperl, Adam RDL Taylor, Shay Legorle, Brendan LaRose, and TT. Thank you so much for your support. You can get your name in the credits too by checking out the rewards on the Patreon. You only tried to eat my earring once this time. That's much better.